The Note 20 Ultra, when it comes to cameras, well, I believe I'll be quoting MKBHD when I say it's great, but when it costs $1,300, it better be. Hey there people, how you doing? So today we have the camera review of the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. And well, I'll mostly be talking about the extra and niche features that we can get from the camera app mostly. Most of them are software features, but I'll also be talking about how good these cameras really are. And also how good it stacks up against, its competition and what its real value is. So with that said, let's begin with Hyperlapse. And I know, all phones have it, but in Hyperlapse, we have Super Steady mode, which can technically allow you to take much more stable time-lapse videos handheld. So I do think it's a very neat feature to have. But the most amazing feature in the Hyperlapse of the Note 20 Ultra is actually night mode time-lapse, and I realized that iPhones just got that feature, but Samsung already has it apparently, and well, it works. And of course a tripod is needed, but I can tell you, it works like a charm, and with super clean video overall, and the quality, given that it's at night, it is kind of phenomenal. Another feature we have here is live focus video, and it's not something that I use very often, I'll admit, because mainly the sensor on this one is already very large, and that in turn gives us very good depth of field and overall bokeh when taking normal video. Also, live focus video, it doesn't work particularly well, and well, I'm not exactly saying it's bad per se, but it's well, the front facing camera, at least I think that works much better than the rear facing, which is odd really, because we don't have any depth sensor or anything like that, but it seems to recognize faces well enough. And as you can see, the edge detection looks good enough. It's a normal blurred mode, and yeah, I think it works well on the front facing camera, but rear facing camera with objects, it's not that great. And then of course we have super slow-mo. Now, as good as a feature is, and it's been in the Samsung Galaxy lineup for quite a while now, but see, the problem with this feature is that it can be quite dramatic, and you get 960 frames per second slow motion, obviously for a split second, quite literally, but the problem is the quality is very poor. With 720p resolution, it's not even worth sharing online on like even Instagram. The quality is that bad. And sure, it'll work very well as a party trick, but that's just it. Anything else, it cannot be used properly. That's why its use cases as such are very limited. Also, this one needs this crap ton of light, and it basically reduces the usage that much more. Next up, we have Pro Video mode, and on the S20 it was there, but it felt very half-baked because we only had the main camera and not a lot of support for different modes. So although you could adjust your settings with respect to ISO and shutter speed, and you could change the focuses, it didn't really work that well. But on the Note 20 Ultra, things have changed for the better, a lot of them. And so we have a lot of options here as well. We can start from 1080p at 24 FPS. That's right, we have that cinematic frame rate. Finally, it took long enough, but all the way it goes up to 1080p at 120 Hz. That's right, we can actually make slow motion video with Pro mode. It's pretty cool indeed. Then for 4K we have 24 all the way up to 60 Hz. And almost like a bonus, we have 8K at 24 Hz with Pro mode. This basically means that we can dial in all of our settings, each and every one, in good detail, because man, this one has a very fully fledged Pro mode as such. And so we can basically take just a kind of look and just see amount of light and darkness that we want in a scene, and it could come out to be very handy, and it could be very cinematic as such. Oh, and by the way, we have 21:9 aspect ratio for video recording built in, so I mean, it just keeps getting better and better. But in the Pro Video mode, I do have two complaints in particular. The first one, it's not a big one indeed, but I've seen it in other smartphones as such, and so I wish Samsung would do it. It's a flat profile when taking video, or a log mode as such. Know that nobody actually grades their videos they take on their smartphone, but it would be very nice to have for those who do. So yeah, I wish that we had that log mode so that you could grade it as much as you like. But there is an actual backdoor to this. I think we all know that we can take HDR10 Plus video directly from the Note 20 Ultra's camera. And well, that just helps out because end of the day, when you're taking video in HDR10 Plus and converting them to standard dynamic range in your editor, mine being Resolve, well, then you can actually get kind of a flatter profile and then you can grade it as much as you like. It kind of works. It's not perfectly like log mode as such, but it works. It's kind of a way to do it. If you really want to do it, like you want it badly enough, then you can do it. But another complaint that I had, even on the S20 series, was that in Pro mode, we do not have access to any of the other pretty amazing cameras over here. It's only the main camera. And I get it for good reason actually, because the main camera will give the best possible video quality. But you see, the ultrawide camera could definitely use a Pro mode. It would work so very well, and I mean, it would be impressive to say the least. It's kind of unfortunate that we cannot use it as such, but I mean, what can we do? It's just how it is. I wish in the next generation at least Samsung includes the ultrawide camera in their Pro Video mode. Alright, now let us talk about the one feature that I feel is the best that Samsung's got for their cameras. It's a single take mode. It's, in my opinion, a very simple and elegant solution to the kind of problem we face where we have to hunt for, say, slow motion when you want to quickly take slow motion video of something that's happening in front of you, and you're out there in the camera app trying to find it and it's getting annoying. Whatever is happening is going to end and you want to take the video. Well, I get it. It happens to everyone. Trust me. So, what single take mode does is that once you start recording, it'll record for about 10 seconds or so. I think you can increase the time or even decrease it depending on your taste. It'll take a bunch of photos and videos where some photos will have maybe a different look or a different color grade and make it look a little bit more dramatic. Maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't. You'll get normal photos as well. On the video side of things, you'll get normal video. You might as well get a black and white video or a black and white photo. That could look kind of neat, I guess, but you will also get slow motion video in many cases, and that is actually very useful because, you know, you want to capture everything possible, and that's what single take does. And then of course we have other stuff like Pro mode, I just talked about it, and then we have night mode, and it is actually pretty fantastic on the Note. I mean, it was already good on the S20 series, but there were some issues here and there, but the Note actually fixes a few of them. Check out my comparisons for more details on those, but yeah, the night mode, in a nutshell, amazing. By the way, the Note also has full compatibility with ultra-wide main camera and zoom camera as well when it comes to night mode, so you can take any type of night mode photo you want. Pretty neat if you ask me. And yes, I realize once again, the new iPhones that are coming out, they have the full support for all of the lenses to be used when taking night mode. It is the one feature that I believe last year was kind of lacking in the iPhones, but this year, they followed kind of in Samsung's footsteps as such and took advantage of all of their amazing cameras. It'll be such an amazing comparison, let me tell you. The moment I get my hands on these, it's gonna be just one hell of a barbecue. Okay, now let's talk about how good these cameras are. And standalone, the Note 20 Ultra's cameras are very good, and that's just how I'm gonna put it. Because when you consider the price tag and the fact that the phone itself, in all of its other features, say the display and the chipset, you know, all those places, it's not absolutely perfect. It really pressurizes the cameras to be the best out there. And let's face it, as good as these cameras are, as good as the individual cameras are in their own ways, these won't be the best cameras. Actually, no camera can be the best smartphone cameras out there. I don't think that actually exists. Because if you think about preference, not a lot of people like how Samsung processes their photos. Speaking of which, I actually noticed a lot of improvements when it comes to software processing in the photos, especially in the photos, because as compared to the S20 Plus at least, I noticed that the Note 20 Ultra now makes its photos look more natural with slightly lowered contrast, making everything look a little bit more flat, a little bit more like an iPhone if you even understand the comparison, but yeah. That's just how I noticed it looked. Also, the color tones looked a lot more natural, as I said before. And the one place where I believe the biggest improvement was in the lowering of overprocessing and over sharpening as such. And I really like this new path that Samsung is taking towards their processing, and I wish that they continue to do so because I mean, I really like how it looks, and if they can improve this even more and reduce that over sharpening which has plagued Samsung phones for quite a while now, I'd say that these cameras would be a lot more capable than even now. But of course, there is always going to be room for improvements, like for instance, the skin tones and lowering the skin smoothing in portraits, or at least giving us the option to turn it off altogether. But anyways, with all these conclusions, we can say that these cameras are very good, but they are not perfect. And so, with a $1,300 price tag, I'd say that standalone the cameras, again, amazing, no doubt. But with that kind of price tag, on this phone in particular, I'd say that they're not absolutely worthy of that price tag. If Samsung had made the price tag, I don't know, maybe $1,100 or even 12. I mean, 12 would make this still one of the most expensive smartphones out there. But $1,300, I feel that the kind of camera experience that we get, it could be a little bit better. I mean, we should be expecting better for buying basically the most expensive smartphone. Hell, this thing costs more than an iPhone, the top of the line iPhone. I mean, we shouldn't be expecting anything less, right? So, in a nutshell, the cameras are good, but with the price tag, not so much. But the real question arises that is a phone, the smartphone as such, worth $1,300? Well, that is a question that shall be answered in the full review that is going to come up very shortly, so do stay tuned for that. Hit the subscribe button so that you get that notification, and of course, do hit the like button if you enjoyed, and I will be seeing you guys later. Cheers!